What's going on, everybody? How you doing? This is a donation request. This is for Rob. This is an album donation. The artist is Genesis. The album is Abacab. That's right? I assume that's how you say it, right? Abacab. This is from 1981. I've heard of this. Have I heard any of the songs on this album? Paper Late was an outtake. Okay, so it's gonna be like that. Are any of these singles? Have I heard any of these? Earth, Wind & Fire, Horns Were On, No Reply at All. Okay, Abacab was a single. Maybe I've heard that one. No Reply at All, Keep It Dark, and Man on the Corner. We'll see. We'll see if I know any of them. Because, I know that I've heard, especially this era Genesis, just in passing. I know that I have. So we'll see. Okay, let's get some information. Before that, Rob says, this is important. Rob says, so we're doing this album plus your pick of one song to watch live after you finish the album. Maybe mention that in the intro so people can make suggestions for the live track. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the album right now. And then I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until it becomes clear to me what track to do. Maybe that might be after I do the album. I might be like, you know what, I'm really interested to hear this one live. But also, I'd like your suggestions. Of these songs on this album, what should I do live? Maybe there's a performance that I should be checking out. So hit me with those suggestions in the comments. Let me know, and maybe I'll do it. Maybe I just get excited and I'm like, no, I need to check this out. I don't know. But I am saying that probably there's a chance that I'm gonna do the album, upload it and release it, and the live track isn't out yet, isn't even filmed yet, because I want to get to all of it. So, and check the comments. Does that make sense? So meaning the live track may come out a week later or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it'll be the next day. You know me. It totally depends. Totally depends. You know, I might get crazy and just do it, or I might be busy and who knows. So anyways. That's what we're doing. Let's get some information on this album. 11th album by Genesis, recorded in 1981. After their 1980 tour in support of their previous album, Duke, the band took a break before they reconvened in 1981 to write and record a new album. Abacab was the first Genesis album recorded at the Farm, a recording studio bought by the group in Chiddingfold, Surrey. It marked the band's development from their progressive roots into more accessible and pop-oriented songs and their conscious decision to write songs unlike their previous albums. Abacab enjoyed a mostly positive reception from critics and was a commercial success for the band, becoming their #1 LP on the UK albums chart, and their first to reach the top 10 of the US. Wow, okay. Genesis released 4 singles from the album, the most successful being Abacab and No Reply at All. So I'm wondering if maybe I've heard those. I feel like Abacab, maybe I've heard. The album was certified gold in UK, double platinum, RIAA for selling 2 million copies in the US. Abacab tour visited North America and Europe in 81, recordings from which formed most of their 1982 live album and concert video, Three Sides Live. Okay, so that, maybe, okay, all right. 3 tracks left off the album were released on the EP 3x3. The album was reissued, right, and one of those was Paper Late, which I did hear, right? That was requested. I did check that out. And, I remember not being that into it, but also I remember days later just not being able to get it out of my head. So that's kind of interesting. Like, not being super into it, just being like, okay, this is like really poppy, but yet not being able to get it out of my head, and people calling it Paper Plate and other just joke things. Anyways, 1980, Genesis lineup of drummer and singer Phil Collins, keyboardist Tony Banks, and guitarist bassist Mike Rutherford, with touring drummer Chester Thomas and guitarist and bassist Daryl Sturmer, wrapped their 1980 tour of the UK and North America in support of their 10th album, Duke, following a period of rest. Okay, right. Genesis recorded Abacab in 14 weeks, and they typically worked between 12 and 14 hours a day while making it. New studio environment had a productive effect on the writing process, and the band had enough material for a double album, but they discarded 1 hour of music because they considered the songs were too similar to their past albums. Though the band did not alter the way in which they approached the songwriting for Abacab, Banks said a conscious effort was made by the group to avoid Genesis cliches such as using tambourines during a chorus, reprises, extended solos, lengthy instrumental passages, and keeping melodies simple, which signaled further changes in their direction. Because of this, Banks considered Abacab to be the least technical Genesis album at the time of its release. Rutherford said the omission of songs that were too familiar to what they had done previously was required to avoid Genesis becoming a caricature of itself, and so the change in direction was therefore necessary. He picked the songwriting periods for Duke and Abacab as a rethink of Genesis' approach. Collins said the group adopted what they had done for Duke and took it further for Abacab, specifically with group improvisational jams and writing with the aid of electronics such as a drum machine. The home studio allowed the group to stop working on a track if a rehearsal failed to produce any desired results and switch to another, which is not possible at a professional facility due to the limited time available. Band shift in direction was also underlined in their production with the departure of producer and engineer David Henschel, who had worked with them since 1975, who was replaced by Hugh Padgham. I've seen that guy's name everywhere. Hugh Padgham, who worked with Collins on Face Value and former Genesis singer Peter Gabriel's third solo album, which featured Collins on drums. Gabriel's track Intruder features a gated reverb effect on Collins' drums that Banks and Rutherford liked and wanted Padgham to do the same on Abacab. The album marked the first time Genesis produced an album on their own, with Padgham credited as engineer. Todd, if you're here, did you just hear that? Todd had a question that I covered in a comment section video about the differences between producers, engineers, and if it's changed over the years. And this is 1981, right? And also, that's what he's credited as. You think he didn't have some kind of musical input? He probably did. He probably did have musical input. But he was also the engineer that created that effect on the drums, that whole gated reverb effect, right? That's a big deal. That's not only like a sonic choice, that's also a musical choice because of what it does to the music. All right, anyways. Yeah, very interesting. The decision to bring the drums to the forefront of a song caused Banks to change his usual approach of writing and playing, which he found exciting. Band praised Padgham's fresh approach to recording. Banks recalled the attractive ideas he had for recording drums, and his lack of knowledge in handling keyboards gave Banks the freedom to explore and obtain sounds that interested him. The band considered Abacab an album that closely represented their natural live sound. The band would produce different mixes of finished songs and selected the ones they all liked best. Okay. Formed of 9 tracks, 6 of which are group written, with the remaining 3 solely credited to one of each member. Me and Sarah Jane is from Banks, Man on the Corner by Collins, and Like It or Not, Rutherford. Group decided to have the album consist mostly of collective songs, as they thought such tracks became the strongest on Duke. Okay, so let's just get to the first one, which is Abacab. Abacab is titled after the order of sections of music the group had for the song, which at one point spelled Abacab. So A-B-A-C-A-B. That's super common if you're writing a song, to think of, that's the form, right? A section, B section, A section, C section, A section, B section, right? So it's 3 A sections, 2 B sections, and 1 C section, which, maybe a chorus. The B section maybe, the C section maybe a bridge, the B section maybe a chorus, and the A sections maybe verses. Or it could not be that at all. It could be something just, not like that kind of traditional way of thinking of form at all. In which case you would just say A, B, A, C, A, B. That's very jazz. Rutherford said that the final version of the track is not the Abacab order at all. It's like A, C, C, A, A, B, B, A, A, C. Okay. The song developed from a group jam session that had them playing along to a looped electronic drum track until the tape they were used to record on ran out. All right. Cool. So let's check this first track out. Abacab. Oh, it's kind of long. Wow. And this was a single. They must have had a single version, a shorter single version. You would assume? Maybe not. Yeah, longest track on the album. All right, let's do this. Genesis, Abacab, bam. 80s. synths. This keyboard over this one. It's like super out front. I don't think I've heard this. Thick. It's a really thick sound. And the vocal over it too. Cool. How this keyboard kind of came out of his vocal part. That was kind of cool. That's funny, they just made the song Abacab after, they just like made it up out of just the form. So I'm thinking in the single version, a lot of this is not there. You would think. I mean, if there's a single version, I would assume if it was released as a single, right? Or mean, this is just like a giant kind of open jam. It's just I thought they said they got rid of extended solos and lengthy instrumental passages. The first track, lengthy instrumental passage. Maybe that's not what they meant. They fade on this, huh? Okay. Yeah, they just fade out on this. Okay, there it is. All right, that's interesting. Yeah, super 80s sound. Super 80s sound. I like how the drums sound, actually. I think that they sound great. But yeah, the keyboard synth kind of stuff, super 80s sounding. I think Phil Collins vocally sounds great. I just do. I didn't know that I liked his voice so much. I guess I am a product of the 80s, so I suppose that makes sense. Yeah, he sounds like a really good singer. You know, like I can't say anything bad about that. He just sounds freaking great. And the fact that he's the drummer also, that's like huge. That's like I mentioned that in a video recently. I don't remember what video it was. It was I think we were talking. It was a Queen video, and we were talking about Roger Taylor singing and all that, and how he sounds really great, and how I'm always skeptical of drummers that sing. I just am. I'm skeptical of drummers that sing, but the ones that do are really excellent. And here we go. We got two examples. Just ridiculous. But like, you know, if I'm like at somewhere and there's music and there's a band and the drummer is the one that's singing, I'm going to be skeptical at first. I'm going to be like, all right, let's see. Because, you know, it's drums already. It's like you're only as good as your drummer, right? And their job is just so important that it's like just focus on just destroy your job, just destroy it, and then the band is going to sound fantastic. But for you to also be the vocalist, that's also that. Now all of a sudden it's like two of the most important people in the band are the same person. It's like, oh goddamn. I thought it was also interesting that that whole end was just this like vamp jam thing, and I literally just read Banks said a conscious effort was made by the group to avoid Genesis cliches such as using tambourines during a chorus, reprises, and these parts right here, extended solos, lengthy instrumental passages. Kind of like, I'm pretty sure the first song that you put out right here on this album was those last two. I would say that, yeah, you know, yeah. So anyways, that being said, it was cool. I don't recognize it. I don't recognize this song, even though it was a single and apparently big here. I don't recognize it. So the next song was also a single, No Reply at All. This one has the Earth, Wind & Fire horn section, right? Phoenix horns. So we're gonna check that out next. I'll catch you then later.